Former UFC middleweight champion Sean Strickland. Brash.
I want to go down there and punch all you fuckers in the face.
Bold.
I'll give you a chance to win. Just go hard.
I told you. He is definitely not short of confidence.
Volatile.
Gilbert Burns' son to move. Oh, and then,
wow. Oh my goodness.
oh wow.
Out of nowhere. That's kind of crazy.
A brawler's brawler. A man who slips into violence like a normal person slips into a warm bath. A man unafraid of confrontation. On the contrary, he seeks it out.
We're gonna try to fucking kill each other for you guys. Strikers, can I get agreement? To the fucking death. To the fucking death. Yeah!
An elite combat athlete who exudes fearlessness. Comedian Theo Von.
Well, there's a lot of rumors in my town that I beat down Syndrome.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, that's inspiring, man.
That's how I felt when I heard him, because I didn't start him.
Open. Very open.
My first girlfriend's had real short hair, dude, and she looked like a young man, you know?
Yeah.
And I don't know if I really wanted to be her boyfriend, but I don't know if I had a choice.
Yeah, you were just
Oh, dude,
a pawn.
Oh, bro. She used to, when the school bus would come, it would bring my brother and his friends from the bigger school, and they'd pick us up after. She would pick me up and start making out with me. Bro, it was so fucking embarrassing. And sometimes I would wrap my legs around her. I didn't know what else to do, bro.
Fascinatingly, wonderfully unhinged.
Go deep with whatever the fuck you're doing.
I
Let's
like
go.
to get right on the fucking, I like to be a peeping Tom if I can. I'll watch your whole family eat dinner.
Adored by many, understood by few. A man who will talk to anyone about anything. Truly.
Yes. Is cocaine a stronger
oh yeah,
up?
yeah. Cocaine
So,
will make
you're way up with cocaine more than anything else you can think of.
Cocaine will turn you into a damn owl, homie. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You'll be out on your own porch. You know,
Yeah.
and you'll be your own street lamp. You're freaking.
And is that a good feeling? While
No,
it's
horrible.
Someone who leaves his conversation partner equally amused and bewildered.
Brilliant guest today is already taking the piss out of us. It's the amazing American comedian Theo Von. Welcome to Trigonometry.
You guys have, we call it autism. I don't know what you guys call it, bro, but...
I've loved stand-up comedy for as long as I've had access to YouTube. I also follow and train MMA. So needless to say, when I saw Theo Von was interviewing Sean Strickland, I couldn't help but click on the video. I was keen to see how these two incredibly different men from two incredibly different worlds would interact in a long-form conversation. I expected Theo to say more unhinged things, stories of dubious origin that, if true, Sean Strickland himself wouldn't be able to beat out of me.
Well, the game was you and a buddy, you'd grab each other's wiener.
Right.
Penis, they call it.
In those days.
Some of you guys call it penis. But, yeah, you'd grab it, and the first person to get an erection lost the game.
Right.
And I expected to get a kick out of watching Strickland trying to figure out what the hell was there in front of him, trying to draw a bead on Theo, much like he has to do with his opponents in the octagon. But my expectations were dashed when the formidable Strickland broke down into tears while discussing his childhood trauma. This, after all, is a man who had been loudly developing a persona as a chest-beating man's man. Someone who is only touchy-feely when he's trying to gauge your distance for an overhand right. But even more surprising was how Theo handled the situation. Theo was incredible. He handled that uncomfortable, heavy moment with the grace of a pro. And I really do mean a professional. Because as I watched things unfold, I recognized some of the fundamental principles that we were taught when training to become therapists. Whether Theo knew he was doing this or not, it was fantastic to watch. So, I thought I'd break down a few key things Theo did and didn't do that made this moment so impactful. And if you ever find yourself in a similar situation with a friend or a loved one, these are tools you can use too. They are surprisingly simple, but frequently overlooked. And if used properly, they're profoundly helpful. First things first, building rapport. Many think that therapy is about techniques, about deep-cutting questions, clever interpretations, or applying different theories, all in the pursuit of that revelatory aha moment, where the client realizes that maybe, just maybe, being raised by the early 2000s internet has done a number on their psyche.
You unzip me. It's all coming back. It's all coming back. I hate you. It's all coming back. You understand?
Now, obviously, Theo isn't a therapist, and this wasn't a formal session, but he demonstrates real-world principles that hold power outside of the therapist's office. In his signature Theo Von way, he builds Sean's trust, and that trust later makes all the difference. So how does Theo do this? For starters, Theo is disarming. Using levity and humor, much of it self-deprecating, Theo creates a more playful atmosphere, which lets his guests know that he doesn't take himself too seriously.
And I've never been heavily homosexual, but I will say this, that there's nothing really gayer than getting into a man's warmth after he's already left the room, you know, and climbing up into his bed. A man you don't even really know that much, but still catching that hit off of his temperature, you know?
He can laugh at himself. There is no contest of egos when you sit down with Theo, no posturing. Even guests who are used to being embattled or subjected to gotcha soundbite journalism are put at ease knowing this is not such an interview. Now, obviously, the method of creating that comfortable space in therapy looks a lot different than Theo's. But the principle is the same. Make the other person feel safe enough to open up. Theo is also authentic. Sure, one could argue that Theo is at least in part playing a character, and that many of his outlandish tales are fabricated for our enjoyment.
At the lunch table, we get some kids who were mentals, or a couple of them might have been mentals, and a couple kids that were well, you know, and we get there and sit them to make them drink milk and then tell jokes and do stuff until one of them just blew milk out of their face, you know? And if you get some straight up just couple mentals, boy, some straight up sawed off humans, you get them to straight up blow leche out their dome, dude. That's America right there.
But in conversation, he comes across as genuine and authentic. So even when the tale seems tall, there's something honest about it. That genuine authenticity is especially evident when it comes to Theo's ability to be vulnerable with both his guests and audience.
Hey, man, because that was a huge part of my life.
Well, tell me about it.
I just felt ashamed of myself.
Yeah.
I felt ashamed of I felt ashamed of how I looked. I felt ashamed of like my ears, my nose, my face, the way I stood. I felt, I felt ashamed of my family, of my home. I just, everything I just felt a ton of it. I'm not whining about it right now. I'm just thinking back, but yeah, I just felt a ton of shame. You know, I think I felt ashamed of who I was at like the first molecule almost, like the first cell of my, you know, the dirt under the roots. It felt like there was a part of me that felt like I was me, or anything that had to do with me was gross.
I understand.
You know?
We'd call this self-disclosure. Therapists use self-disclosure sparingly, so they don't come off as unprofessional or make the conversation about themselves. But used well, it builds trust and connection. It can also normalize things that would otherwise bring the client shame.
Yeah, dude, I remember being so scared when I was a kid. Like I was saying, like, I remember hearing that like animals, if an animal peed somewhere, another animal wouldn't come. So I would stand up on my bed at night and I would pee around my bed in a circle because I was afraid that things were going to get me.
No shit. Who were you afraid? Like any particular? Just
everything.
Everything.
I mean, I was just afraid of everything.
Well, I mean, you didn't really grow up with a dad.
Not having somebody like communicate with you or fucking treat you. I don't know. I don't know what it was, but I was just really scared.
Yeah.
That's why I think when I see a lot of you guys, like, I think there's a lot of guys out there who fuck, I wish I could have been even able to defend myself in my neighborhood or anything. Like I didn't have anybody to look out. I just didn't. So I think, you see guys
Fucked up, man.
like you.
When the person across from you sees you being authentic and vulnerable, it makes it infinitely easier for them to do the same. This would be key in getting Strickland to lower his guard and, oh, no, Sean, no, not like that, that's the wrong guard. And finally, just as important as anything I mentioned previously, Theo doesn't judge. In therapy, this is called unconditional positive regard. It means we support and empathize with someone's honest expression, even if we don't agree with their views or behavior. We don't cast judgment. The client can't go about the process of changing or healing if they're weighed down by shame or fear. Many people have a hard time with this. Hearing something that you find utterly unacceptable activates your lizard brain. Threat and conflict mode, the instinct to confront, to correct, or to crush. I'd wager that you can recall hearing something that stoked the fire of your emotions and had you charge into something more closely resembling a bar fight than an honest discussion. I can certainly remember. This is especially true for those who have made their ideas their identity. But no matter the emotional discomfort or the compulsion to impose our values on the other person, we can't rupture the all-important therapeutic relationship. This isn't about being right. It's about being effective. And prioritizing the former over the latter is arguably one of humanity's greatest failings. Theo seems to understand this on some level, and so he greets Sean's inflammatory comments with humor and curiosity, rather than condemnation.
Liberal women, bro. Fucking A. Gotta put them back in the fucking kitchen, dude.
Well, I think if you want to think about, God, there's so many things going on here. I don't know how you survive, Sean. You're wild.
It's
dude.
true though, dude. It's true though. What is one?
Well,
good,
let's talk about one thing at a time.
What I'm saying is, like, at what point don't women take responsibility for not
putting out?
Straight
But
up.
do you think men are appropriate? Men behave appropriately enough and operate appropriately enough to deserve? Like, that's another thing.
Here's the thing.
I was posed a challenge once to imagine the most loathsome, detestable client in my eyes, and then ask myself, can I hold unconditional positive regard for this person if they came to me for help? So while Sean says things that many would consider incendiary or backwards,
So, anyways, I go to 7th grade and I get kicked out of school for like a hate crime. So what they do is
Did you really do it or not?
I mean, I probably just called somebody or dropped the N-bomb. Like, it was
Right.
probably, it was like, but it's also a different time, bro. It's different fucking time. Like, racism was way more common back in 20 years ago.
Yeah. That's like Rosie the Riveter, right? Like whenever they had the...
Yeah, fuck that, dude. Fuck that.
I don't know.
You ruined fucking America, Rosie. Get your ass back in the kitchen.
But I don't know. And
Theo does not cast judgment or grandstand. While certain people would have liked to see Theo take some principled stand and push back against Sean, making a performance out of virtue, this would accomplish nothing. Less than nothing, actually. Theo is unlikely to change Sean's deeply entrenched beliefs on the set of a podcast. Sean would likely become defensive, and the entire podcast would devolve into a combative, performative exercise. Instead, Theo uses humor to playfully diffuse any tension and keep things open for Sean, his own comedic form of unconditional positive regard. This is another important factor that gave us the moment we're about to see. And so we arrive at the moment of truth. Like a blue-collar Dante, Sean leads the viewer into his hellish childhood. Severe mental and physical abuse at the hands of his alcoholic father. He describes how despite only being a child, he would sleep underneath his mother's bed so he could protect her from his father's beatings. Young Sean believed he was responsible for preventing his father from murdering his mother. It is during this explanation that Sean breaks.
Dude, I remember laying in bed. I remember I stopped believing in God, man. Fucking, I had fucking, yeah, it's crazy shit, dude. Yeah, crazy shit, man.
yeah. Yeah, I'm sorry, bud.
So, man.
I'm sorry, buddy.
That's all good, dude.
Now, the internet has no shortage of performative grief. Crocodile tears and performances so phony that they would make Jamie Kern Lima blush. Pathological actors feigning humanity for sweet, sweet views and sympathy. But this is the genuine article. Rather than sobbing for the camera, Sean is actively fighting to stay in control of his emotions. But he is losing. Trauma is a world-class Dagestani grappler, and Sean's defenses are overwhelmed. A display of intense vulnerability, totally at odds with the persona that Sean normally puts forward for the world to see. This is real. This is also where Theo truly shines. The conversation has grown heavy and uncomfortable. Most would be unsure of how to proceed. The instinct of many is to comfort, to reassure, to fix, or perhaps motivate, to say something, anything, to lighten the heaviness. While this may be well-intentioned, this approach rarely helps. Yes, there is a time and place for motivation, reassurance, and advice, but it's not here. This pain doesn't want fixing, not yet. It wants a witness. Too often, pep talks and speeches freighted with unwanted advice are pushed on those who just need an ear to listen. And whether we realize it or not, a lot of those sermons are for the benefit of the speaker more than the distressed. You've likely been there, laid low by life and just needing someone to hear you out and see your struggles, only to be hit with a TED Talk and cliche advice from someone who has never trekked your patch of road. I fully admit that when I started my mock sessions in my program, I had to tell my analytical, problem-solving brain to cool it with the solutions and just listen first. Theo does not fall into this trap, which brings me to the next tool that Theo uses: silence.
So, man.
I'm sorry, buddy.
That's all good, dude.
We don't have to talk, man. I can just sit here with you for a minute.
Oh, fuck. Oh, fuck. 6 seconds.
I can just sit here. We can just sit
Nah,
here.
it's all good, dude. 6 seconds. I just process it. I think it's one of the hard things that people don't understand, like trauma, you know?
Yeah. Sometimes it just comes out.
Silence is one of the most effective tools that a therapist has. It allows the person across from them to fully sit with whatever emotion they're experiencing. It lets the client process and work through things without interruption, distraction, or interference. Having another human simply sit with you and witness your suffering is the profound, quiet longing of many, as well as an important part of the healing process. Theo seems to intrinsically understand this. He knows the value, the power of saying nothing. Theo is also visibly upset. Perhaps due to his empathy, his own trauma, perhaps both. But he doesn't make it about him. It's just shared humanity that makes the silence all the more powerful. No motivational speeches or attempts to pull Sean out of what he's experiencing. He keeps Sean company in a fundamentally human way. To use a common phrase you'll hear among therapists, Theo sits in the shit with him. I'll mention again that Theo isn't a therapist, this isn't a formal session, and that this one moment isn't going to fix anyone. But it doesn't need to. That's not the point. We evolved to be communal creatures. Perhaps it's enough just to sit with another human being and have them witness, truly witness, that cathartic outpour. It lightens the burden so that we can continue on our path, so we can confront that which is most difficult for us. It's a level of courage we can all aspire to, a lesson we can apply to our own lives at this very moment. In this eyeball economy driven by sensationalism, conflict, and performative outrage, it's nice to see a genuine human moment. And it's worth remembering the next time you find yourself sitting in a situation similar to Theo, how a bit of rapport, some positive regard, and the simple act of silently listening instead of offering advice can be profoundly helpful to the most important people in your life as they struggle with their heaviest burdens. All too often, we just want another person to see that we're struggling. Carl Jung summed it up well when he said, "Know all the theories, master all the techniques, but as you touch a human soul, be just another human soul." Theo did just that. Well done, Theo.